Hey everybody, I want to share with you guys something so exciting. We often refer to the Lord as our God of miracles, but it's rare that we see miracles. Well, I want to share with you a miracle today. About 2 weeks ago, one of the people that we've invested in heavily, her name's Marcella. If you guys have followed my blog, or our prayer letters, you know that Caesar and Marcella are good friends of ours here in Hermosillo, and they have themselves just are experiencing new life in Christ is the reality. They've become Christians within the last year, and they have come out of a life of drug abuse and of living on the streets and of things that we can't imagine. But Christ has redeemed them, and He is doing an amazing work in their life. And now we're beginning to see them reaching out to people in need like they were in need. And somebody reached out to them and loved them, and now they're starting to do the same. And it is a complete privilege and joy to be able to see that firsthand. Marcella heard about a woman, she was in the news here in Hermosillo, who had a daughter who was in the hospital. Her condition was she had a lung that was drying up. The doctors didn't know why. They couldn't figure out the reason for it. But they said that there was a cure, but that the medicine was 4 hours up the highway just across the border in Tucson, Arizona. And it was going to cost thousands of dollars to get it here. And that the government wouldn't pay for it. The mother had to come up with the money. Well, most people down here don't have that kind of money. And so her daughter was in the children's hospital here, and they put out a plea on the news for help. And that's how Marcella heard about her. And Sherry and her were talking and decided to go down to the hospital to try and find this mother and pray with her and see if they could help in some way. And they started to forge a relationship with her. They asked her if she wanted to come to the prayer meeting at church that night, and to their surprise she said yes. And so she came to the prayer meeting, and we surrounded her with love, and we laid hands on her and prayed for her, and it was a very emotional time for her and for our church as well. And later we took an offering and raised a little bit of money, not nearly what was needed, but we tried to help in physical, tangible ways, and just to show her the love of Christ. And of course we prayed for a miracle. We prayed that God would bring in the money, or that He would heal her miraculously. Her daughter, whose name was Blanca, she had been in the hospital for 5 months in kind of quarantine because she was so susceptible to disease and stuff. For 5 months, 10 years old. And you know that 2 weeks after Blanca came to our church, and Marcella and Sherry kept up this relationship with her, she came to services and to some prayer meetings. Do you know that she's left the hospital? God is healing her. The doctors can't explain it. Her lung is stopped the drying process and is beginning to be healed. And we prayed that God would heal her, that He'd bring in the money, and you know, He did both. He's healing her even before the money came in, which it has now come in. And they've got the medicine and they're starting treatments. But even before it came in, the doctors couldn't believe and couldn't explain why she was getting better. But she was getting better. And we shared that information at the church prayer meeting last night. And it encouraged our church like you wouldn't believe. And I hope it encourages you too. Our God is a God of miracles. And He just wants us to pray. He wants us to pray more and more. That's what my sermon's about this weekend at church, is about praying to the God of miracles, entering into the real battle. Not what we see before us, but what our spiritual ears and eyes can see if God allows us and if we're looking for it. So don't miss opportunities to pray to the God of miracles, because He is listening and He does act on our behalf. So be encouraged. Thanks.